Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I want to start by asking you to think for a moment. How often do we allow distractions to steer our lives? How many times do we put our dreams, our growth, and our potential on the back burner, telling ourselves we'll get to it later? We live in a world where everything and everyone is vying for our attention, pulling us in 1,000 different directions. And yet, we continue to forget one simple truth. The most important thing you can do with your time, energy, and focus is to invest in yourself. Let me be clear. I'm not talking about selfishness. I'm not asking you to abandon relationships or ignore the needs of the world around you. What I'm talking about is creating a deep personal commitment to your own growth, to your own evolution, and to unlocking the highest version of yourself. In this fast-paced, always-on world, it's so easy to get swept away. We find ourselves busy, always busy, and yet, at the end of the day, we wonder if we're really progressing. We wonder if we're truly moving closer to the person we know we could be. But here's the thing, time is the most precious resource you have. Once it's gone, you can't get it back. Every second you spend worrying about the past, fretting about things you can't control, or focusing on things that don't align with your highest purpose is a second lost. But what if instead of wasting time, you decided to take control of it? What if you chose to focus that energy back onto yourself? What would happen if you stopped being so caught up in what everyone else is doing, and instead put all your attention into becoming the best version of who you are? The first step is awareness. You have to recognize where your attention is going. We often think we're working on ourselves just because we show up for the day-to-day tasks. But the real work, true transformative work, is internal. It's about understanding who you are at your core, realizing your true potential and deciding right here, right now, to take full responsibility for your life. It's about making the shift from being a passive observer of your life to being the active creator. Because the truth is, we don't get what we want in life. We get what we believe we deserve. And if we keep placing our focus on external factors, on what others think, on the limitations that life throws at us, on the circumstances we have no control over, we're giving away our power. We're telling ourselves that the outside world is in charge, that it has the ability to determine how we feel and what we can achieve. But here's the truth. The world outside of you is just a reflection of what's happening inside you. If you want to see change in your life, you must first change within. If you want better health, focus on nourishing your body and mind. If you want more love, direct your attention inward and start loving yourself first. If you want greater success, align your thoughts, actions, and energy with the person you are becoming. The key to this transformation is presence. You need to be fully present in the moment. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every action you take is shaping your reality. If you constantly replay the past in your mind or worry about the future, you're robbing yourself of the opportunity to create in the now. The moment you are living in right now is all you have. Don't waste it on distractions. Don't waste it on mindless scrolling, unnecessary noise, or people who don't value your energy. Instead, use it to focus on the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that align with the future you desire. The more you do this, the more your external world will shift to reflect the energy you're putting out. Your life will begin to change, not because of the circumstances, but because you changed. Now, this isn't to say it's easy. It's not. Transformation requires effort. It requires dedication. It means showing up for yourself every single day, even when the world tells you to settle for less. But let me tell you, every small effort you put into focusing on your growth compounds. Every time you choose your vision over your fears, your growth over your comfort zone, your purpose over your distractions, you are moving closer to the highest version of yourself. The magic happens when you stop waiting for permission, when you stop waiting for the perfect moment, and when you decide, right here and right now, that you are the creator of your reality. That you are worthy of the time, the energy, and the focus it takes to become the person you've always dreamed of being. So I challenge you today, stop wasting time. Focus on yourself. Choose to invest in your personal evolution. Give yourself the gift of time, attention, and effort. Because the more you focus on your own growth, the more you contribute to the growth of everything and everyone around you. Focus is the foundation of personal growth and achievement. In a world filled with constant distractions, it becomes increasingly difficult to maintain a clear and consistent focus on the things that truly matter. We live in an era where technology, social media, and external demands constantly pull our attention in multiple directions, making it easy to lose track of our personal goals and ambitions. Yet, focus is the one thing that can determine whether we succeed or fail in life. When we focus, we direct our energy toward a specific intention or task, giving it the attention and dedication it deserves. This kind of focused attention helps us cut through the noise, bypass distractions, and hone in on what we truly want to achieve. Without focus, we scatter our energy, leading to frustration, confusion, and a lack of progress. Focus, on the other hand, provides clarity and direction, allowing us to make better decisions and take purposeful actions. Achieving focus requires discipline and the ability to say no to distractions. So, it's about creating boundaries and setting clear intentions that align with our deeper values. When we focus on what truly matters, we cultivate a sense of purpose and clarity that can guide us through the challenges of everyday life. It also requires the practice of being present, which means immersing ourselves fully in the moment without being pulled away by the past or future. The more we practice focus, the more it becomes a habit, strengthening our ability to accomplish goals and stay on course despite the external chaos around us. Growth is not a passive process. It requires constant effort, intentionality, and an unwavering commitment to self-improvement. It's easy to think of growth as something that happens naturally, but in reality, it requires a deep internal shift, a decision to evolve beyond the person you were yesterday. Growth begins with the willingness to embrace discomfort, because real transformation often comes from pushing ourselves beyond our limits. It means stepping out of our comfort zones and challenging the old beliefs, habits, and patterns that have kept us stagnant. To grow, we must first understand that it's not about perfection, but progress. Every step, no matter how small, counts. Growth often involves learning from mistakes, failures, and setbacks, because these are the very experiences that shape our development. When we shift our mindset to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles, we open ourselves up to learning and evolving in ways we never thought possible. At the core of growth is self-awareness. We must be honest with ourselves about our strengths and weaknesses, our desires and our fears. This honesty allows us to identify areas in our lives that need attention and growth. It also involves being open to feedback, whether from others or from our own experiences. These insights can guide us in the right direction. Personal growth requires resilience, the ability to keep moving forward even when the road gets tough, and patience, as growth is rarely a linear journey. It's about having the courage to continue working on yourself, even when results aren't immediately visible, and trusting the process of becoming the best version of who you are. Transformation is a process that goes beyond surface-level changes. It is a deep internal shift that affects every aspect of our being. It begins with the recognition that who we are today is not who we have to remain. Transformation happens when we become willing to let go of old identities, old habits, and old ways of thinking that no longer serve us. It is about consciously deciding to evolve, to break free from limiting patterns, and to step into a new version of ourselves. This shift is not always easy, and it requires great courage to face the parts of ourselves we might have avoided or suppressed. But the beauty of transformation lies in its power to release us from the constraints of the past and open up new possibilities for the future. True transformation occurs when we start aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the person we aspire to be. It requires a deep commitment to change, and this commitment often involves discomfort, because change challenges the comfort zone we've spent so long building. As we embark on this journey, we may encounter resistance, both from within ourselves and from external sources. But it's essential to understand that this resistance is a natural part of the process. It is the friction that helps to forge a new way of being. Transformation also calls for letting go of the fear of failure and embracing the idea that growth and change are not linear processes. There will be setbacks, mistakes, and moments of doubt, but these are integral to the transformation process. With each step forward, we learn more about who we are becoming, and through that knowledge, we continue to transform, becoming more in tune with our true potential. Awareness is the foundation upon which all meaningful change is built. It is the ability to observe, reflect, and recognize the patterns, thoughts, and behaviors that shape our lives. Without awareness, we are merely reacting to the world around us, swept along by the tide of external events. Awareness, however, gives us the power to choose. It allows us to step outside of automatic reactions and become conscious of our inner world, our desires, and our motivations. When we cultivate awareness, we are no longer prisoners of our past conditioning or our current circumstances. We become active participants in shaping our own lives. The first step toward awareness is presence, the ability to be fully in the moment without being distracted by the past or the future. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get lost in thought, consumed by worries about what has happened or what might happen. Yet true awareness requires us to drop into the present moment and observe what is happening inside and around us right now. It involves tuning into our thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations without judgment or resistance. This non-judgmental awareness allows us to notice our habitual patterns, our fears, and our automatic responses. Awareness is not just about recognizing negative patterns. It's also about celebrating the positive ones. When we become aware of our strengths, values, and passions, we are better equipped to align our actions with our deepest desires. This awareness enables us to make conscious decisions that support our growth and well-being. It also brings clarity, allowing us to discern what truly matters in our lives and what no longer serves us. The more we practice awareness, the more we become attuned to the subtle shifts within ourselves and in the world around us, helping us move forward with purpose and intention. Presence is the ability to be fully engaged in the current moment without being distracted by the past or the future. In a world full of noise, distractions, and constant demands for our attention, cultivating presence is one of the most powerful tools we can develop. It is about immersing ourselves in the here and now, allowing ourselves to experience life as it unfolds, without constantly worrying about what happened before or what might happen next. When we are truly present, we are able to engage more deeply with the people around us, the tasks at hand, and the feelings within ourselves. This connection to the present moment allows us to tap into our full potential and access a deeper level of clarity, creativity, and understanding. Presence also involves the ability to quiet the mind, to let go of the constant chatter of thoughts that often pull us away from what truly matters. It requires a shift from a state of constant doing to a state of simply being. In this state, we are no longer defined by our past experiences or our future goals. We become more grounded in who we are right now, free from judgment and expectation. This freedom allows us to act with intention rather than reaction, to make decisions based on our highest values rather than external pressures. Being present also helps to build emotional resilience. When we are able to stay present during moments of discomfort, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, or stress. Instead of being consumed by negative emotions, we can acknowledge them, process them, and move through them with greater ease. This ability to remain present, especially in challenging moments, is what enables us to grow and transform, turning each experience into an opportunity for learning and self-awareness. Responsibility is the cornerstone of personal empowerment. It means acknowledging that we are the creators of our own experiences and that the choices we make shape the direction of our lives. To take responsibility is to stop blaming external circumstances, people, or situations for our shortcomings or difficulties. Instead, we recognize that our responses, attitudes, and decisions are within our control. Responsibility is not about accepting blame for everything that goes wrong, but about owning our part in every situation, whether it's success or failure. This ownership empowers us to change, learn, and grow. When we take responsibility for our lives, we stop playing the role of a victim. We cease to be passive observers of our own existence and begin to engage actively in creating the outcomes we desire. This shift is liberating because it puts us in charge of our own destiny. We can no longer rely on others or outside factors to determine our future. We realize that we have the power to choose how we react to challenges, how we navigate through adversity, and how we pursue our goals. Taking responsibility also means being honest with ourselves about our strengths and weaknesses. It's about recognizing where we have fallen short and where we need to improve. It's not a judgment of self, but an opportunity for growth. When we take responsibility, we commit to doing the work, whether it's changing old habits, learning new skills, or adjusting our mindset. Responsibility encourages us to be proactive, to make deliberate choices that align with our values and goals. It transforms the way we approach life, from a passive existence to an active pursuit of purpose and fulfillment. Energy is the force that drives every aspect of our lives. It is the fuel that powers our thoughts, emotions, and actions. Understanding and managing our energy is one of the most crucial elements in creating a life that is aligned with our deepest desires and intentions. Energy isn't just about physical stamina. It also encompasses our mental, emotional, and spiritual states. When we are energized in all these areas, we are more productive, focused, and capable of achieving our goals. However, when our energy is depleted or scattered, we feel drained, unfocused, and unable to move forward with clarity or purpose. The way we manage our energy greatly influences the way we experience life. Our energy is influenced by what we consume, whether it's food, information, or relationships. Negative influences drain our energy, leaving us feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from our true selves. On the other hand, positive influences such as nourishing foods, uplifting relationships, and inspiring environments replenish our energy, making us feel vibrant and alive. Energy also works in cycles. There are times when we feel highly energized and motivated, ready to tackle anything, and other times when we may feel low, fatigued, or uninspired. Recognizing and respecting these cycles is key to maintaining balance. It's important to give ourselves permission to rest and recharge when needed, as doing so allows us to come back to our tasks with renewed energy and focus. By practicing mindfulness and tuning into our body's signals, we can learn to harness and direct our energy more effectively, ensuring that it is always working in alignment with our highest intentions. Our energy is our greatest asset, and how we manage it can determine the course of our lives. Purpose is the driving force behind everything we do. It's the inner compass that guides our actions, decisions, and aspirations. Without purpose, life can feel aimless, and we may find ourselves moving from one task to the next without a clear direction or sense of fulfillment. When we are connected to our purpose, however, every moment has meaning. It gives us clarity and motivation, even in the face of challenges. Purpose provides a sense of alignment, where our actions, thoughts, and values all converge towards a common goal. This sense of alignment fuels passion and determination, pushing us forward even when the journey becomes difficult. Discovering our purpose is a deeply personal process. It requires introspection and a willingness to be honest with ourselves about what truly matters. Often, purpose is not something that is handed to us or immediately clear. It unfolds as we explore our values, passions, and strengths. It might take time and experimentation to uncover, but when we do, it brings a deep sense of fulfillment. Living with purpose means living with intention. It requires us to make conscious choices about how we spend our time, energy, and resources. When we are clear on our purpose, we are able to say no to distractions and yes to what aligns with our greater vision. Purpose also gives us resilience. When we face setbacks, it's our sense of purpose that helps us push through adversity. It reminds us why we started and what we are ultimately working towards. It helps us see challenges as part of the journey rather than insurmountable obstacles. With purpose, we are not only able to create a meaningful life for ourselves, but we can also inspire others to do the same. Change is an inevitable part of life, yet it's often something we resist. Our minds are naturally drawn to comfort and familiarity, preferring the known over the unknown. However, change is the very essence of growth, progress, and transformation. Without change, we remain stagnant, trapped in old patterns and limitations that prevent us from reaching our full potential. While the process of change can be uncomfortable, it is through embracing change that we open ourselves up to new possibilities, experiences, and ways of being. Change begins with the recognition that our current reality is not fixed. It's shaped by the choices we make, the thoughts we think, and the actions we take. When we acknowledge that change is necessary for growth, we empower ourselves to break free from the cycles that no longer serve us. This might mean letting go of old beliefs, habits, or relationships that hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. Change, although challenging, often brings clarity and new opportunities that we never imagined possible. It forces us to adapt, to think differently, and to expand our perception of what is possible. The key to embracing change is flexibility. The more adaptable we are, the easier it is to navigate the shifts that come our way. Change also requires a willingness to step into uncertainty. The unknown can be intimidating, but it is within the unknown that the greatest opportunities lie. By learning to trust ourselves in the process of change, we can move through transitions with more grace and confidence. Change is a powerful force, one that invites us to continually evolve and improve. It reminds us that our potential is not static, but ever expanding. As long as we are willing to grow and adapt, commitment is the driving force behind success. It is the unwavering dedication to a goal, a vision, or a purpose, regardless of the obstacles that may arise along the way. Without commitment, intentions remain just that, ideas that never come to fruition. Commitment requires more than just a desire to succeed. It demands consistent action, even in the face of adversity. It is easy to be motivated when things are going well, but it's the commitment to staying the course during difficult times that separates those who achieve their goals from those who give up too soon. Being committed means fully investing in the process. It involves taking responsibility for our actions and outcomes and being accountable to ourselves and others. Commitment requires discipline, doing what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like it. It's about creating a mindset of persistence, where challenges are seen not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to learn and grow. When we are truly committed, we don't make excuses or look for reasons to quit. Instead, we find solutions and ways to overcome the hurdles that stand in our path. Commitment also involves prioritizing what matters most and eliminating distractions that pull us away from our goals. It's easy to become sidetracked by the noise of everyday life, but true commitment means focusing on what aligns with our highest values and long-term vision. It means making conscious choices about how we spend our time, energy, and resources, always with the bigger picture in mind. The more committed we are, the stronger our resolve becomes, and the more capable we are of turning our dreams into reality. Ultimately, commitment is the key that unlocks the door to lasting success and fulfillment.